How's everybody doing? So good to be with you. You all are the only other people, besides my fellow Texans, crazy enough to be outside on a day like this hot. But you're out here because you're with every single one of us, trying to make sure that every one of our fellow Americans can live without fear, that our kids can go to school and focus on their studies, listen to their teachers, flirt with that young boy that my daughter Molly has been telling me about in her first days of middle school. Those things that I got to do when I was a kid because I was not involved in active shooter drills, which are so common a part of life right now. As I listen to kids across this country, they literally know which bookshelf in their classroom they are going to pull down when the inevitable for them finally occurs. After the shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, high school shooting, one of the most chilling things I ever heard was an interview with one of those students who survived that massacre. And when the newsman put his microphone in her face and said, "Were you surprised and shocked that someone came into your school and hunted down your fellow classmates and killed them?" Her answer was no. I expected that was going to happen sooner or later. Texas, like Arkansas, is a proud gun-owning state. So many of us own guns for self-protection, for hunting, for sport, for target practice, for sentimental reasons. And so many of us understand the responsibility and the obligation that comes with owning or using a firearm. But I did not have the language to describe that until I met an extraordinary Moms Demand Action volunteer in Texas, Diana Earl, who lost her son Diedrich, and instead of being consumed by grief, which all of us could forgive her and understand if she were, she got up, she got after it, she got out there, she confronted people like me who wanted to hold positions of public trust and accountability to ensure that I did the right thing. And she said, "Beto, do not just talk about this in the safe places like Austin and San Antonio, where I met her, or El Paso, or the Rio Grande Valley, or Houston, or Dallas. Go to the reddest places on planet Earth. King County, that voted for Donald Trump 96% in the last election. And talk about universal background checks. Talk about ending the sales of assault weapons in our country. Talk about red flag laws. And talk about saving lives." And you know what? She was absolutely right. We're in one of the most conservative communities in Texas, in Brownwood, Texas. And a woman at this town hall raised her hand, and I called on her. And she said, "Beto, I'm an independent. And my mom, who is a lifelong Republican, told me that in Texas, that is code that you're a Republican." I said, "I'm an independent. And I was born on a ranch just outside of Brownwood with a .22 in my hands. And so I was bracing myself for the attack that was about to come. And instead," she said, "but I've also got nearly 24 grandkids. And all I want to know is, are you going to be in office to protect and defend them or the NRA? Republican, Democrat, no me importa. In every one of the 254 counties of Texas, we took your message that you taught me in the language that you taught me to use that connected with people, not as voters, but as our fellow human beings. And I took that example one step further here today in Conway, Arkansas. Went to a gun show. Listened to those who are selling guns at that gun show to learn from them, hear their perspective, share mine with them. One gentleman, no joke, came up to me and I said, "We're going to lose nearly 40,000 of our fellow Americans this year. How do we make it better?" And he said, "We should not have gun shows like this one. I should not be able to sell here. I'm not a licensed gun dealer. Anyone who comes up, I have to be able to sell to them. I should not be able to do that." He said that, not me. Someone else, an owner of an AR-15, maybe knowing that we just proposed a mandatory buyback of all assault weapons and weapons of war in this country, he said to me, "If that's going to help save lives, then I want to be part of this. And so let's just make this commitment to one another. I'll close with this. Given the gravity of this problem, and we really have a perspective on this, after 22 people in my hometown were killed 2 weeks ago to the day, we cannot make this with half steps or half measures or only half the country. Let us write no one off. Let us take no one for granted. Let us count no one out. Go up to that person at the gun show, your Republican mother, that person in your life who you know you're not supposed to talk about politics or religion with. Break that taboo, at least on the first one, so that we get this done at the end of the day. Y por último, I just want to say thank you to you all, for Everytown, for Moms Demand Action, for all these extraordinary leaders here guiding me and showing us the way on that day when we finally put an end to this epidemic of gun violence. It will be thanks to you and everyone in your life for making it possible. Gracias y les agradezco. Nos vemos.